3.1. Identify that a moving object possesses kinetic energy and that work done on that object can increase that energy. Essentially, you would have done kinetic energy in Year 8 to Year 10 physics, where you would have looked at moving objects possess kinetic energy, and you would have maybe discussed potential energy. Well, I assume you know what potential energy is. However, work is something more difficult that we would have explained in Year 10 when we did the physical world. However, we need to separate this dot point into two parts, kinetic energy and work done, to understand the overall concept. So moving objects possess kinetic energy. If work is done on one moving object, then kinetic energy possesses can be increased. For example, accelerating a vehicle to a higher speed increases kinetic energy, i.e. motion. Kinetic energy is proportional to the mass and the square of the velocity of an object, and is measured in joules, and you can see that with the formula there. Sometimes kinetic energy is expressed as K, capital E, sometimes capital K, little case e. So it's up to you in what format you see it in, but the one that I've got given on this slide is the most common. But you can see at my table at the bottom, they've also got the other abbreviations, E and little k. So kinetic energy cannot be negative. Note that 1 joule equals 1 Newton meter, and there are two things I want you to underline. So what is work? Work done is measured in joules and represents the gain in kinetic energy obtained by that work. It can be calculated if the force applied and the distance over which it was applied. So basically, if something is gaining kinetic energy, so accelerating a vehicle to a higher speed, we can work out the work measured over that distance. So it can be calculated by knowing the force and the distance over it was applied on to give you what the work was. Okay. At the bottom of the slide here, I've got what each variable means for work and kinetic energy. And as I mentioned earlier, kinetic energy can be expressed in several forms, sometimes as Ke and Ek.